Hey guys, I'm Vernaire and this is For the Creators.
There you go.
Yeah! Alright, cool. Alright. Ready?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Vernaire.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is For the Creators.
Here we are.
Hey.
Finally, after months and months and months of planning.
We're finally here, mate.
Yes.
We are doing it. And this is our podcast show.
Yeah. What is this podcast?
We're taking you behind the scenes, guys. That's basically what we're going to do. We're taking you behind the scenes.
Yes.
We're shining the spotlight on those people that you never get to see. We all know that when you see an artist out there, you hear someone on the radio, you see someone on the TV, that they're not on their own. There's someone that is behind them. Those are the type of people that we want to focus on this show. Obviously, we want to bring you the news, but we've broken the show down into two different sections. So we've got the main section on a Monday, which is going to be about interview of a well-known figure, or it might be someone behind the scenes. You just never know, but you have to keep posted, or you have to tune in to find out, you know. Mm-hmm. But on a Wednesday, you get the pleasure of having me and Ryan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Going back and forth.
Going back and forth with
Catching
each
up.
other. Catching up, catching joke, you know, just allowing you to get to know us and just to give you a gist of what we're doing behind the scenes ourselves as well as creators.
As creators,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, yeah.
So as we're on that point, what kind of creator are you?
Interesting. Like, this is a question that throws me because I don't see myself as a creator in that sense, but in the raw sense of the word, the fact that you start something and then it develops into something else, in that sense I'm a creator, but I see myself more as a theorist or someone who's very strategic and is able to strategically plan and put things together rather than be creative in the normal sense of the word. So someone who's an artist, you can clearly see visually what they do. My work is a lot less tangible because it's more from my mind than anything else. But I guess creative people come from the mind as well.
But I guess you help make creative people.
Yeah, I'm
work
very
in the
much
real world.
I'm very much that person behind the scenes who helps the creatives to get shit done.
Right.
Basically, because you've got creatives, as far as I'm concerned, the people who are just that. Their brains are constantly spilling over with ideas. They
Like
just
me.
want to create. Whereas me, I help them to bring the structure to it and make what they're creating into a business.
Yeah.
And to generate an income from it. So that's what I do. I create business or income streams.
Awesome. From creatives.
For
creatives.
creatives, yeah.
Not from. It's not a leeching thing.
So how would you describe a creative, Ryan?
Me, I would describe a creative or creator as anyone that can make something out of nothing. So you walk into a room with nothing and you come out with something, and you can give that something to the world, whether that's you've painted something, or whether you've made a piece of music, or even if you've written a business plan or something like that. You're creating something, man. And like literally everything we can see and hear, taste even, like it's come from someone's mind, and that is the essence of creation. And that's what we're here to unveil and look into, you know, what makes someone firstly use that part of their imagination that we all have as children, or most of us do, follow that through to the point where they're an adult and they've kept that childlike mind and gone against everything that comes against you as a creative, to then put that stuff out in the world, to then inspire others, because ultimately we're all inspired by what we see and hear and feel around us, you know.
Yeah.
So
I think I resonate with creatives, even though I don't necessarily think I'm one, because I think creatives crazy match my crazy. And I think
you got different kind of crazy.
We got different kind of crazies, and I feel like to be a creative or to be even an entrepreneur, you have to be a little bit crazy, because you're stepping outside of your comfort zone and you're stepping outside of the box that society is built, in that sense, where it's telling you go to school, you leave school, you get a job, you get married, and the rest is, and then you literally wait to die. Creatives go against that status quo, and we say no. Like, yeah, what you sort of done in the past is great, but we
There's a
can do
different way,
better
yeah.
than that, or we can do it in a completely different way. And that's why I like being around creatives. And it was actually something that I said at the start of the year, that I just want to attract creatives this year. So it's so ironic that I'm actually here on a show, my podcast show, in collaboration with Ryan, about creatives.
It's mad.
I could have never even foreseen that.
No,
So
neither could I. Neither could I. The way this is coming about is crazy, but maybe we'll explore that on another
later date.
in-between episode. That little conversation just made me think of a question, and that is, in your sphere of creation, even though you don't think you're a creative, who do you like look up to in that sense?
I think in my sphere, there's two people I look up to, because I don't know, I didn't say at the start, guys, but I'm a digital marketer and business consultant, which is how I enable or assist creatives. And for me, there's two people that really stand out, and that is Robert Vaynerchuk. Is it Rob?
Gary.
Why do I keep calling him Robert?
Maybe he is a
Alright,
Robert.
maybe he's not the person. I know his name, people. I know his name. Let's start again. So
Need some more Red Bull.
Red Bull took away my wings.
Yeah.
It didn't give it to me. Anyway, so it's Gary Vaynerchuk and Steve Bartlett. And the reason why I like Gary is because in him I see someone who's very, like, they're two, like, I think they're at two different ends of the spectrum, even though they're within the digital marketing space. Like, Gary's very much in your face. You know, you gotta get out there, you gotta do what you gotta do, like, no nonsense approach. Do you know what I mean? There's no excuses. Like, stop effing complaining.
What are you doing? Exactly, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Just do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You go to work, you come home, you kiss the dog, and you get to work.
Yeah,
That's
straight.
scary.
Yeah.
Then you go to Steve, who is a young entrepreneur, and he's also in the digital marketing space. But I like him because he shows me that it's possible. He was literally not a high school dropout, well, UK version college dropout, and he's created a multi-million-dollar empire. And he's not even 30 yet, which is something that I aspire to do. So, and his demeanor's, like I said, the opposite of Gary, in the sense where he's very, like, chilled, but he's, like, when he speaks, it's very thought-provoking as well, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So Gary's in your face, but he's the one that you walk away and you're like, that was deep. Yeah.
Yeah. I find with Gary that in your quiet moments, you can just hear his voice. If you're not doing what you need to do, it's like you can hear Gary in your head. And you're like, all right, I hear you, man.
Gary's the drill sergeant.
Yeah.
He's in the army. He's getting you out of bed. He's kicking you up the ass. Then Steve is just like, no, but it's gonna be okay. Just keep working hard. Like, it's two different ends of the spectrum, but you need both. In those quiet moments when you're feeling sorry for yourself, you need Gary. And in those moments where you need to just be reminded that, you know, you need to keep going, like, you know, this is not the end, this is just the beginning, then you go to Steve.
Right.
So,
Awesome.
how would you, in your realm of creativity, how would you describe yourself as a creative, first of all?
For me, I'm 50%. 50% arts creative. So I'm a producer, artist, songwriter, anything to do with music. I do all of that. Also had a spell as a dancer as a teenager. So all of that.
I know
like,
about this. People tell
performing,
me more.
all of that kind of stuff.
Performing with you in a way.
Hey, we'll explore that another time.
Guys, I'm literally picturing Ryan.
Yeah, what street dancing,
that.
man? Yeah. So we'll explore that. But the other half of me is an entrepreneur, and I have to feed both. I can't do one without the other. So for me, the creators that I look up to, and there's like loads, and I'm probably going to miss out some, but the ones that resonate with me right now, on the business side's Elon Musk, because the thinking,
Obviously.
man, the big thinking is just, and it's not just big thinking, because anyone can think big, but it's about backing up your
Execution.
your thinking with massive action, and that's what he's doing. He's even thinking, like, live tweeting basically his thoughts. Like, I remember when it could have been a ploy, but when he was tweeting about making tunnels for like underground travel, basically for the cars, and he was live tweeting that kind of thought process, and then named the company on Twitter and stuff. So he called it the Boring Company because you bore holes.
Oh, cool.
And just everything that they're doing with that he was obviously massive team is doing with Tesla and SpaceX and all of that. Like, for me, next level. On the creative side, like, my talisman has always been Pharrell. I feel that he's obviously, as an artist, as a producer, songwriter, even performer, and he dabbles in fashion as well. I'm not really interested in fashion like that. I'm more interested in tech, but yeah, I think combine those two,
and you got
fuse them a bit, and that's who I aspire to be. Yeah, that's me as a creative and a creator.
It's funny because I was just, whilst you were speaking just now, I was just thinking, like, I chose 2 males. Does that mean I'm masculine?
No, not at all. That is interesting, though.
It's so funny because those were the 2 names that came to mind, and they're 2 guys. But
why is that?
I don't really know. Like, I was thinking about all of the other. I think it's mostly because they're in the industry,
the digital marketing space.
I in and aspire to be great at, and I think that was the main driver. There's other women out there who I find very inspiring, but I don't look to them day to day for advice with regards to my element of creativity. When it comes to motivation, for example, then those people I can refer to, but there's not really many women in this space, or maybe I need to explore women in this space a little bit more. But it's just who I've come across. We could do on this. Yeah, definitely. And it's something that I'm aspiring to do on the socials as well, is to highlight WCWs, Man Crush Mondays. Yes. But yeah, it's interesting because when you were saying that, but I do agree, the 2 that you've chosen are both phenomenal people, and if we can get them on this podcast, you're just putting it out there, law of attraction. If you know a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell Elon Musk or Pharrell.
Season 10 10 years deep.
100,000 episodes.
Exactly. That would be dope.
Pharrell walks through at 75 looking 25.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? That guy does not age. I don't actually know how old Pharrell is.
I think he's
65.
Nah, I think mid-40s.
It's exactly the same. It's crazy.
Creativity don't die with age, man. Gets better.
It's like fine wine.
Exactly. But maybe that is the space that you can fill. If you don't think that you've discovered anybody that's in that space, then hopefully it can be you. Or hopefully we do find that person as well on this show.
Yeah, I think what I try to do in most situations is, because I like to think big, and sometimes it's to my detriment, but I like to focus on the people who are really at the top of their game, and not people that, no offense to anyone else, mediocre, because I feel like if you aim high, then at least you get halfway. And that's why, for the most part, I don't even focus on my immediate competition, because I'm just like, if we're on the same level, then I can outdo you through, say, customer service or just really applying myself. But to get in the £1 million, $1 million bracket, I need to be focusing on the people that are in there doing it.
Or beyond that.
And beyond that, do you know what I mean? So, like, my thing in every situation is always to aim high. I'd never look at local competition. For me, that's pointless. We live in a global world, a global economy, so we should be pushing ourselves to be great.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Absolutely. And that goes exactly the same from the creative side. You know, you just got to be aiming beyond always. And staying in your own lane. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
I think one of the best quotes I heard is really that there is no competition. As much as you can, I think the worst thing that you can do is, even though I look up to Gary and also Steve, I never compare myself to them, because I also know that we don't have a level playing field, whatever that may be. So for me to start from my current position and compare myself to millionaires, I'm missing a trick. So what I need to do is just focus on doing what I do and do it extremely well, to the point where people will start seeing me on that same level, even though I'm not there yet. And that's my driving force. But
the output can always be equal.
Like, I always look at people as inspiration, but I never look at it as like I'm jealous or I want to be them.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no time for that. And also I know that I have been given a specific gift that they don't have, and I've been given a specific way of doing things that they weren't given, because that's my story to tell here on this planet. Or
Absolutely. Like Oprah says, you're here to be the most accurate and authentic version of yourself.
definitely.
You know, so in that essence, there is no competition because no one can be you. You know, so, and this is what this show is about. This is about like accurately, authentically showing our guests and ourselves who we are. You know, with creatives, a lot of the times your personality is locked up in a room. Do you know what I mean? So this is why the podcast will allow people that are behind the scenes, and even people that are, even if they're out front, sometimes you won't be able to get the full sense of who they are. So hopefully on this show we can enable the full sense of who
I think
creatives are.
The thing about this show and what we really want to focus on is that it's not supposed to be, even though we mentioned the term celebrity, we don't necessarily want it to be celebrity led. We want it to be people led, people who are at the top of the game. And some people don't want to be celebrated, but it doesn't mean that they're not really good at what they do. And I think in this current climate and the society that we live in, you know, if someone doesn't have 10,000 followers, then they're not good at what they do. And I feel like that is terrible, because we all know that people can purchase followers and purchase likes and things like that. But I think your work should speak for itself, and not your social following. And I feel like that's what this show is going to highlight, and that is what I would personally like it to highlight. All of the different roles within the industries
And how they all tie in together.
and how they all tie in, because it's like, you know, you always see the person who's at the forefront, the person who's out there, the person who's on the TV, the person who's on the radio, the person who's on the podcast, but you never see the team behind them that it took to get them there. Like if you've got someone traveling 7 different countries in one day, like for example Rihanna when she did the 7/7 tour, like who was behind that? All we hear about is Rihanna 7/7, but do you know how many dancers and different airplane flights and
to have all the press on tour with them,
the fans and all of that?
It's
that
mad,
is a team.
It's a mad team.
Yeah, and that's literally why I hate the quote. You got the same 24 hours as Beyonce. I hate it because we don't.
Yeah.
Beyonce's got thousands of hours each day. When you multiply the workforce, that's giving her a minimum of 8 hours a day. And I feel like that's why comparison is the thief of joy, because if you're comparing yourself to someone like Beyonce, it's unattainable, it's unachievable at this point. So start where you are with what you have, but just understand that the people who you see out there are just they're not the main people that's driving it.
Yeah. There's always a team. No man is an island.
No man is an island, most definitely.
Was it no one man is an island? I don't know what the quote.
I think it's just no man is an island.
I shouldn't second guess myself.
Yeah, you were right.
I always get quotes wrong, that's why. And you'll see that throughout these episodes. So, what have you been up to this week?
This week, I think for me this week, I was ill for like the past few weeks, to be fair. Some phantom illness, but I won't go into that. But coming back to work, I was kind of like hit with the fact that one of my main contracts are coming to an end. But I don't look at it as a negative. I'll look at it as if it's a fresh start. And for me, this podcast plays a very, very big role in that. So the past week has been a little bit about ending one chapter and walking straight into the next one, which is what we're doing here today. So yeah, guys, as the weeks go by, I'll tell you a little bit more about what I've been doing. But essentially what I've just been doing is just trying to close out contracts. And you know, Ryan and I have met up quite a few times just to fine tune this and get it right. And here we are. So that's essentially my week. A little bit boring, but you know, I'll keep it spicy next time.
But it's those boring moments that create moments like this, isn't it? It's taking a lot of planning, a lot of talking.
Definitely.
You know, a lot of brainstorming.
Next week will be better, by the way, because I'm actually going to the music conference in Brighton tomorrow.
Oh, sick.
So, yeah, so I'll have something to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
Not that my life is that dead, but yeah. How was your week? Ryan?
Very similar. So you said about chapters closing and walking straight into a new one. So I closed my studio that I was in, moved that on, closed that chapter. I've been there for like going on like 13 to 14 years.
Oh.
And so as a producer, and producers will know, listening, but 13 years ago you needed a studio. You needed somewhere to, just because of the amount of equipment and stuff you needed and stuff, you needed a place to record. But the equipment's got so much better now. So you can literally, I can set up in this room right now with the mics that I've got and get good quality, do you know what I mean? Good quality vocals and stuff, and I can mix everything on my laptop. So it was more of getting back into that nimble setup so I could be anywhere in the world and have the creativity flow. And also I analysed a lot of the songs that I have out there in the world. I've literally done either in the kitchen or in my bedroom.
No way.
You know
Not
what I mean?
even in the studio.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. A few of them have been started in the studio, but most of them have just been where the inspirations hit. Do you know what I mean? So why go against that? I want to enable that. So that's what I've been doing. Closing that off, like ending leases, tying up all of that, all of that boring stuff. But yeah, walking straight into this and into
For
this
the creators.
for the creators, man. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. And likewise, we're going to keep you up to date with what's happening with us and in our journeys. So yeah, man.
Yeah, guys, like the whole point of this is to take you on the journey with us. This first episode is going to be a little bit rocky, so bear with us. But you know, that's the whole point of it, to show that you've got to start somewhere, and that's one of the things that we focus on. We will be focusing on with this show as well. It's like the whole point of the show is to inspire. We've got 4 E's: excite, enlighten, elevate, and educate. Yeah.
Glad you remembered, because I didn't.
If you saw Ryan's face across the room right now, he's just like,
I was like, please remember, please remember.
Like, I
need to work on that.
I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole point of the show is to excite, enlighten, elevate, and educate. And that goes not just for our guests, our listeners, but also for ourselves, because this
Absolutely.
is very much a journey for all of us, and we just really want to show that hard work pays off. And we've got such a good feeling about this podcast show, and I hope that you guys enjoy it.
Yeah. So this week's discussion. So every week we're going to be picking a topic that is from the creative space that we can discuss briefly. And the topic we've picked this week is Kanye West's return to Twitter and his advice to creatives. So we all know that Kanye can kind of go on different rants and stuff, but on this particular one, he was giving out good advice for creatives. One tweet that he put out was, as a creative, your ideas are your strongest form of currency. How do you feel about that?
I agree. I think it stems back to what I was saying before. I think a lot of creators, without understanding the business of being creative, will easily give away their ideas, and without ever really thinking about who they're speaking to. Like, most creatives may not even think about things like a non-disclosure agreement when they're going out to pitch and things like that. And your ideas are your strongest form of currency, because like you said before, when it comes to everything, starts with a thought. So that initial thought or idea can spark something that never existed. It's like when they were thinking up something like the smartphone, that was an idea. That was someone's initial thought that has now changed the whole trajectory of how we operate in the world. So I really do agree that your ideas are your currency in more ways than one. In terms of, I think he's looking at it from the perspective of your ideas are essentially your, I don't know, it's not like your money, but it's almost like it's your collateral.
Yeah, definitely.
That you can use to get yourself to that next level where you're actually exchanging your ideas for money, which is currency in a normal sense of the word.
Yeah, exactly. And it's something that can be protected and that you can grow. Do you know what I mean? So it is absolutely a currency.
And I think the reason why he's probably saying that is because of all the issues. I think he's having an issue currently with the Yeezy. I'm not sure if he owns the Yeezy name.
Oh, is it?
I think another organization might own the Yeezy name. I'll find out more about that and bring it for next week's chat. But I remember hearing something about the fact that he's currently in court fighting over something to do with Yeezy. So he might own the Yeezy designs, but I'm not sure if he owns Yeezy, the actual name.
Right.
And I think that's probably what gave rise to these tweets, because he's now realizing with hindsight the business side of it. He probably just thought, yeah, everyone knows that I'm Kanyeezy. But someone was smart enough to go ahead and trademark that.
Yeah, there's loads of
and that is
trademark
something
buyers
that
out
happened. Like, for example, like for us with the For the Creators, one of the first thing that we did was to make sure that we secured everything, even at the planning stage. And that's something as simple as like socials and things like that, because someone can see that you're doing really well at what you're doing and they'll go and purchase like the website, for example, or the domain. So I think that's what his tweets I don't know, because obviously I'm not Kanye,
I don't know, I took it a different way. I in your initial reaction, in that as a creative, really the ball's in your court if you hold your creativity with you. Do you know what I mean? If you've always got that next song, if you've always got that next idea, then the non-creatives of the world that maybe have to fund those ideas and things like that will always need you, because your creativity is your currency. Do you know what I mean?
And it's why they need Kanye, to be fair.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So that was what Ryan saw. Or what Ryan thought was very creative this week.
Yeah, I mean, not even so much. I don't think the tweets were creative or the rollout or anything like that. And obviously he's got albums coming out, so I suppose it could be creative timing, but it was more of the advice for creatives. I think that was good. But what's the thing that stood out for you this week?
I think the thing that stood out for me this week was, I don't know if it's a creative thing or it's just something that impacts creatives, but I was really happy to see the fact that so many like really strong women made the Times 100 list this year. And it was inspiring to see people like, say, Rihanna and Cardi B and numerous other ladies. What's her name? From Girls Trip.
Oh, the comedian.
Yes.
Her name's on the tip of my tongue as well.
Annoying. Starts with a T.
Trisha Hadwick.
You guys know who we're talking about, yeah. She's everywhere. She was on Girls Trip with the melons. You can't forget that one. Or was it the grapefruit?
That was a good movie, to be fair.
Yeah, I loved that film. I actually saw it twice. Don't judge me. But yeah, I was just happy to see that women are now being recognised. And this is kind of like the other end of the spectrum, considering I started off this conversation saying that I wasn't inspired by any women. But like I said, I was inspired by them in different ways. Initially, I was focusing on in terms of what I'm doing and business, but to see so many women and young women as well, women that are even younger than me. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not telling you how old I am, guys. But it was still inspiring to see them there and doing their thing. You know, I think hard work and seeing when hard work pays off. And I think the story that came out of all of them, and it's something that I constantly remind myself, is you're never going to get to the top by just doing it for 2 days or 3 days or 4 days. You have to put in the grind. Like, you have to demonstrate that, you know, once you get up there, you have the willpower and the tenacity to maintain it. Because I think personally the easiest thing is to become successful. The hardest and most difficult thing is to maintain it. We've seen so many artists come through and so many people that come through and they are successful, but the old G's like Jay-Z and say P. Diddy and like 50 Cent, who's still relatively new and still there, and Dr. Dre, as much as these new artists are coming through, who's still topping the list? The OGs, because they know and they understand how much it took to get there, so they want to keep it. So for me, it's just really being inspired by by these women who have made that list, because that's an aspiration of mine to be on that list or a similar list in the very near future.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very near future. Did I say near future? Yes.
Yeah. We'll make it happen.
Gonna make it happen, Ryan.
That's it. No, that's good. That's
So
good.
that was it.
What stood out for me as well on that, which is kind of creative as well, is that all of the women that were on the Times 100 list, they were written up by other women.
That was pretty
Rihanna's
dope.
write-up was done by Adele. Cardi B's was done by Taraji P. Henson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's dope. So it's not actually even like a random journalist that no one's heard of. You know, it's.
Yeah, I think when I read the write-ups as well, that's what really resonated with me. They were speaking in a language that we all understand. Because sometimes when you read publications and things like that, you know, it can be very stale and dry. So I like the fact that, you know, it was entertaining to read. But another thing as well, like, you know, I don't want this podcast to be about colour and power to black people or anything like that. But it was also very inspirational to see so many people of colour make the list. And that's not people of colour just referring to black people of different ethnicities on that list as well. It shows
If it was
that,
more like globalised.
yeah, like
representative.
It shows that we're moving forward, even though we're in a climate that says that we're not. So
Yeah,
it was
I'd agree
good
with
to
that.
see that.
Good. J London. So our first episode was with J London, and obviously that was part 1, as you would have heard. Hopefully you did. If not, go back to episode 1, listen to that, and then fast forward to here. So what was your main takeaway from part 1 of J London's in-depth interview?
I have to say, like I said at the start, this podcast is going to change your lives as well as ours, because we get the opportunity to listen to amazing people tell their story. And what really stood out for me was the fact that Jay London was so determined, like the level of drive and tenacity that he has, you know, you can't buy that. That's something that I don't know if it's innate or if you can learn it. But I was really inspired by the fact that from around the age of 7, he had a clear idea of what he wanted to do. And now, as an adult, he's still pursuing that. And even though he's not where he wants to be, without giving it all away, like, he's still working towards that dream. And it really goes back to what I was saying just now about everyone that you see at the top of their game. They didn't get there overnight. Like, it takes work.
And time.
Yeah. So in other words, we're going to be doing this podcast for about another 10 years before no, we want to hit soon. But all I can say is, for me, I was just like blown away by his tenacity, his drive, his determination, you know, and his willingness to fall down 9 times, as Cardi B says, and get back up that 10th time. Like, he did his thing. So I hope that you guys listen to the episode, and like me, you will take away so much more than what I just mentioned to you. So what did you find?
Yeah, for real. Like, perseverance, definitely, the determination and the tenacity, 100%. For me, where I'm both a creative and an entrepreneur, for me, the biggest takeaway is that you can do both, you know. It takes a lot, it takes a hell of a lot, but you can do both. Like, one kind of fuels the other, you know. And I feel that there's a stigma around people that do more than one thing. Like, you always hear like jack of all trades and master of none, but you don't have to be a master at them all. Do you know what I mean? You can just do your best at them, and you know, you get great results by doing that.
I think it's also about being smart, because sometimes I think when people hear about, you know, not being the jack of all trade and all of that sort of thing, it's this belief that you have to do everything yourself.
Right, exactly.
Like, if you set things up in a certain way, you can have money working for you whilst you're pursuing your dream.
Exactly. Because, I mean, look, you've got artists out there that they're clearly, like Rihanna, for example, sick artist, but has a fragrance, has a cosmetic line, has just launched
bringing out
a lingerie
next month, I think.
Do you know what I mean? Will probably have a book at some point. So, but is anyone going to say she's a master of none? No. She's a master of them all because she's got all those things out there in the world. That's all you need to do. Do you know what I mean? So you don't have to be a specialist in any one of those areas. You can do it all. So
I think it's the difference between working hard and working smart.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly. So for me, that was my main takeaway, aka reaffirmation.
Yeah, I took that away from his interview as well. And without giving everything away, there's going to be a part 2 that will be aired next Monday.
Yeah.
So you can tune in to hear that as well. And obviously, once we do our next In Between a show, which will probably be it'll be after the first episode. So we'll go into, you know, what's our takeaway from the second one, just to give you a little taste. But I promise you, I think Jay London's interview was perfect because it set the tone for what we aspire to do with this podcast show.
Absolutely.
And I hope that, you know, listen to the full interview, like listen to it all the way to the end, because I feel like we spend so much time on YouTube and we spend so much time listening to people, again, like the Gary Vaynerchuk's and the Steve Bartlett's, those people that are already up there in this. They're almost kind of like,
it can seem unreachable.
like unreachable.
Yeah.
But if we look around us, like in our immediate circle and the people who are just here doing things locally, we can find so much inspiration as well. Because for me personally, I've listened to Jay London on Capital Extra.
Right, exactly.
A lot.
Yeah.
I've listened to him on I listened to him on, like, I think it's Sunday mornings, and I listened to him like at night time. I was listening to him last night. Stalker. Sorry, Jay, I'm not stalking you, but it's and then just by listening to him on the radio, all you're just getting is a snippet of it. Like, you never hear the full story to just be in that seat.
Right. Exactly. It's taken a hell of a lot to get to that seat, boy.
Definitely.
Yeah. And we got some really, really cool guests coming up, man. Some really interesting stories, insights. Like, I'm actually gassed for you guys to hear the rest of them.
Super gassed.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, so guys, this is for the creators. This is what we do. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing the
We're
thing.
getting started. Nothing was perfect.
There.
We did go through that. We went through that period of trying to get everything perfect, and we was like,
it didn't work.
You know what? Let's just get started.
But you know what? What is perfect? Because this show would never be perfect for everyone. So
no, exactly.
Perfection's out the window. We're just gonna be ourselves, and just do it. And I'm sure there'll be some of you who don't like it. There'll be some of you who love it. But we like to find that nice balance in between, where we've got you coming back every week. But on that note, subscribe.
Yeah. So we need your help in, although look, we're just getting started, and we need your help in growing this audience. Send it to other creators. Press the share button. Review. Rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to this.
Yeah, DM us as well. Like, we're on all socials at @for_the creators. Send us a message. Like, feedback is important. We want to hear from you. This is a show for you, by us. So we want to make sure that we're providing you with the best podcast show possible. And you can also recommend guests that you'd want to see as well.
And questions.
Yeah, questions. Like, we're so open because this show, like, as Wendy Williams would say, you're the third co-host. Don't tell Wendy though.
Is that what she says?
Yeah.
See.
Like, on a show, like, everyone's a co-host.
Oh, okay.
So the audience is her co-host.
I like that.
So I feel like you are our co-host as well.
Yeah.
Hope she ain't copywritten that, but if she hasn't, Ryan. We want this to be very much about you, because it's not about talking to ourselves. It's about talking to an audience who's interested in what we have to say.
Yeah.
And
what we've got to bring to
week
the table.
after week. I can guarantee you we're both passionate. We really want this show to work, and we really want to be providing something that's of value to not just one of you, but all of you. So.
Definitely. And that's why we called it For the Creators.
Yeah.
Cool. On that note, bye.
Don't forget to subscribe.